everybody. Happy new week. I hope you're doing amazing. I'm super excited to be joined here with someone who's still having his Sunday afternoon over in Los Angeles. Art, who has joined me, and I've got his book in my hand right now. Get out of your head. It's a mess in there. Congratulations, Art. This was recently published, literally weeks ago. Yeah. Amazon
Yes.
best-selling author as well, you guys. Yeah. So
Yes.
thank you for joining me on a Sunday afternoon for you, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. So let me give you guys a little bit of a description or introduction of who Art is, and then we'll get stuck into the juicy bits that he's written in this book, why he's written it and what he hopes to do with it, and how he found this process. So please correct me if I'm wrong, if I don't say your surname right. Art Delhen?
That's only about 50% off. It's Delhen. Dealing the cards and the hen that lays eggs, right?
All right. CPCC is a certified career coach living in Los Angeles. After graduating with distinction from the University of Wisconsin with a degree in communications, Art headed west to pursue his TV career, settling in Hollywood, where he directed over 15 pilots and 300 primetime episodes, including Punky Brewster, Head of the Class, Silver Spoons, Webster, and Sister Sister. His experience navigating the entertainment industry and 2 years of study at the Coaches Training Institute prepared Art to transition to his next career as a certified career coach, establishing in Los Angeles, coaching in 2000. So all the way back, 22 years ago, guys, he's been a coach. Flash forward to June 2020. He says that was fast. The pandemic is raging, and Art decides to double down on his own sanity and serenity tools by writing about the aphorisms and slogans he's collected over the years, which is what's in here. And voila, get out of your head. It's amazing there came to be, offering 101 simple aphorisms for better thinking and living. All right, Art. Well, I told you this week, or the last 10 days since I got your book in my hand, I have been reading. I reckon about 10 a day. And I mean, you can almost create it like a little, mindset program for yourself, can't you?
You can, absolutely. And actually, Rick Carson, who wrote a book called Taming Your Gremlin, did the foreword for my book.
Yes.
I was honored to have him do it. And his advice was to read one a day. To get up and read one a day and sort of live with that aphorism for the day and sort of explore it and bring it into your life. And I don't know, I've had actually a writer friend of mine who has written many novels is doing it just that way. And she texts me every few days and lets me know the ones that really struck her. And it's a great way to do it. It's a bathroom book. Sort of, to give you one day at a time.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more than that, because what's awesome about it, guys, within here you can see there's every aphorism has a little illustration. And how funky are these ones? They're not like flashy, they're really cool little illustrations that have been done that illustrate and the aphorism is actually explained, for a little bit of I guess, what made sense to you, I guess, in terms of what you saw within it. Is that right?
It's actually, I say in the book that every aphorism in the book is a lesson I've learned during my life. They're all my favorite aphorisms. And I a number of years ago, I got interested in aphorisms, and a lot of people say, well, what are aphorisms? And it's like a slogan or just a short saying, like Dolly Parton's got one, get off the cross, we need the wood, for instance, or let's see, don't think less of yourself, just think of yourself less, by Ken Blanchard. What you resist persists. It just gets louder and more distorted. And I started collecting these aphorisms. And then when the pandemic hit, I thought, wow, I'd like to write a book using these, but I wanted to have a fun book. I wanted it to be deep and funny at the same time.
Yeah.
So I had coffee with my friend Clemmy Lebusque, who is an Australian. Yeah. And I said, you want to draw, cartoons for my book? And she said, sure. And she said, how many? And what's the deadline? I said, only 101. And,
Yeah.
and she said, sure. So
Yeah.
we were able to put that together. And then I sort of wrote about each aphorism in terms of my experience with it and
Yeah.
my understanding of it. And some were actually biographical in nature, but and then at the end, I asked a question about each aphorisms as something to stimulate thought.
And I think that's a great question at the end of them to then get the person to maybe journal if they're doing it day by day by day. I'm actually on another book that I'm doing 111 spiritual practices. So that one I'm doing day by day by day. And I go, like with this one, I think I wanted to get through it first. And then maybe once I finish the other day by day, I can go, hey, here's another 100. And, how many was it? 101. 101.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
and it's interesting. It's being used actually in some groups and other applications where people are actually using it, and then some people in recovery, some people in other areas are using it for groups, and then using the coaching question at the end as an exercise.
Yeah, such a great idea. It's not like, guys, it's not like a quote book. It is quite different, so it goes deeper, way deeper than that, and I can attest to that. So this is what was the reason that you wanted to write it? I mean, was it to stay sane during the pandemic?
It was because I've always been interested in how thinking has manipulated me. And when I got out of the TV business, I was studying to be a therapist. And then I heard about coaching. I transitioned into coaching. And all these aphorisms that I was saving and collecting sort of were about our own psychology and our own thinking, my own thinking. And the reason I wrote it is because I just wanted to get all that stuff out of my head. Because it was a mess in there. Yeah.
I love it. By the way, you're getting a lot of love hearts and comments here on the live that I can see on my phone because
lovely.
People are saying, wow, go out, go, heart expressions. You will have not if you do not. I think that's another aphorism. And we also say them, don't we? Like I've been saying for 10 years, the one about writing your first book is not about the book, it's about the person you become at the other end of it. So every single one of us, it doesn't have to be a famous person. Someone said it once, and then it's this whole thing, and my authors often quote me, I remember when you said that, and it just becomes a thing. So I encourage everyone listening, you might have your own things that you've been saying to your own clients.
Absolutely. And a lot of those are in here. I mean, one of my favorites is act now, procrastinate later.
I love that one. Yes.
Right.
Act now, procrastinate. Yeah.
Later. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I love that. I learned a similar version of that at the start of my journey 12 years ago. Act before you feel. Act before you feel.
You feel, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And what's lovely about them is that they're sticky. They stick to us, and it's like these great truths that have been handed down through history, that have been honed and reduced and sharpened, and they're sticky because they're short and they're witty and they're true.
True, yes.
Right. And we all, whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger. Right. Well, I've had a lot of stuff in my life that tried to kill me. We all have. In one, whether it's in actuality or psychologically or whatever. And it's these stick with you.
They do. Sierra says they become tools. And that's absolutely right, Sierra. Often when I'm training or coaching or delivering seminars, I'll drop them every now and again because I go, write this down, and people go, clarity comes from action. That's something I've been saying also. A lot of people are feel like they're in a fog, and I said, just start taking action. You'll get clearer as you take more action, and so and I've realized being on this journey, like, you know, when you read them and hear them from other people, like you kind of go, oh, that's nice, you know, like, but actually when you start to live it, like, you know, that saying your network is your net worth. I had no idea what that actually meant. Like, what does that mean? Like, you know, but once you have built and you're on the other side of having lived that, you go, oh my God, that is so true.
Right. When you drill down into it and really drill into it, you see the truth of it.
What is
And it's like, what was the one about action you just mentioned? Action leads to
clarity comes from action.
right. And the truth is, action generally does not come from clarity. Action comes from the desire to just act, and then the clarity. You know, they're so wonderful because they just really sort of hit you head on and go, oh, okay.
Yeah. And Sierra, who's just watching us live right now, I know for her, I think sticks them all around her wall in her office and her bedroom. I like to keep reminding her, you know, of all of those things. So what's another couple of favorites? Do you want to share a couple of other ones that you kind of
well, act now, procrastinate later is one of my favorites. Let's see.
I love this one, or I'll share one. Your best teacher is your last mistake. By Ralph Nader. You know, I love that because I reckon as human beings, very rarely do we learn from a reward or something, oh, everything's beautiful, you know, just growing. No, it's, you know, it's your last mistake that you gotta fix, and then you do better.
Absolutely. One of my favorites is acceptance doesn't require my approval.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
What does that mean to you, for example, when you hear that?
Well, I used to walk around with regrets or anger or resentments, and people would say, well, you got to forgive them. You know, you just got to get over it. And it was hard to do that. And then I realized, wait a second, I can not approve of what happened and still accept that it did happen and move on from it. Or forgiveness, you know, acceptance doesn't require my approval. Forgiveness doesn't require my approval either. I mean, I can forgive. That doesn't mean I approved of it.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because if we can't move forward, well, you know,
what option is there really?
What other option? Okay, we're going to sit in the mud for the rest of our lives. I don't think so. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, we're disempowering ourselves and giving our power to something else that's not worthy of our power, actually.
Yeah.
My loved ones know how to push my buttons. They installed them.
Yeah, that's
right.
That imprinting, right? Like, and I remember you saying how, you know, you're certain.
And I love the picture
too.
The
little baby on the table.
Sort of looking at them sideways like, hello, what?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah, that is so true, because I mean, I kind of also can see what I'm instilling in my children, and having gone through the 12 years. I started this journey when my firstborn was only 18 months old. So when I learned a lot, I mean, I had already done a psychology degree, then on to coaching and all about this imprinting. I was almost like freaking out. How do I am as a parent? What am I instilling in this child that's good, but they're not so good, because I can't be a perfect human being.
Right.
You know? It feels a lot of responsibility when you have awareness.
Yes. Yeah. And when you don't have awareness, then pain untransformed is transmitted in ways that we don't understand, and then we see it reflected back at us. And the awareness gives us the ability to at least try to break that cycle. That's
right. Yeah, it is about breaking cycles. The more we evolve as human beings, you know, from generation to generation to generation, hopefully we know to do better and we learn better. So therefore, you've had quite a few other comments here. Let me see. I'll read a couple of things.
Another one I love is catastrophic disasterbation.
I love that.
Right? Yeah. It's that worry, the sky's falling, you know. all that stuff we worry about, most of which never comes true, but we've spent all that time with all that worry, and it's all stacked up in that Amazon warehouse, and it's not worth a plug nickel. And it's like, how do you get past all that stuff?
Yeah, that anxiety about the future, right?
Yeah.
I always say, I'm not going to worry until there's something to worry about.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And even then, it might not be worth worrying about.
No, and they say, I don't know where I've read in what book or throughout the years, but 98% of the time there's nothing, like the things we worry about, you never eventuate. It is only like such a tiny percentage of things that may happen that we can't do anything about. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I also heard about someone saying, have a worry book. It's almost like a journal. But if you worry a lot, just kind of journal. That's the only 5 minutes of the day you're allowed to worry. And then put away the worry book and just get on with your day.
Here's one by Dale Carnegie. Today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
My favorite one in the book, my actual favorite aphorism is, the best I will ever be is human.
I love that one. I remember reading that. Yeah.
I mean, that gives us a broad road. We all make mistakes. We all have problems. We all screw up. We all, it gives me a lot of freedom to remember that aphorism and to forgive myself, when I'm not at my best. And so there are a lot of days. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me ask you, when you're struggling, these are great to obviously even memorize some of them that are favorites, because I often, in times when we're feeling crappy, we don't want to look at the positive stuff and and all that sort of stuff. So what is your strategy to pull on some of this stuff that you've put in the book when things are not going as well, when you're in a down kind of state?
Well, it's something that comes from the world of recovery, and it's called contrary action. And the notion is what? Yeah, sure. It's when you do that inventory of yourself, you wake up in the morning and you feel like crap, and you say, okay, this is going to be a bad day. I feel horrible. My internal negative voice is saying all these mean things about me, doing push-ups in the corner. And I just feel like, yuck, this is going to be a bad day. I acknowledge that. And then say, okay, I have to do the opposite of that. I'm just going to get into action and do the opposite. So I get up and I make my bed.
Yeah.
And I make coffee. And I, go to my daily planner and figure out what's next. And I might meditate or pray or, take a walk or do anything to get back into action again. Instead of, I want to interrupt my thinking, because all of that bad stuff is all about what's going on between my ears. And it really in general, has no relationship to the truth. It's just a random electronic charges downloading a virus into my system saying blah, 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 blah. And if you don't interrupt that thinking, if you buy into that thinking, or you engage with that thinking, or you try to fight with that thinking, or you try to argue with that thinking, you've already lost.
Yeah.
So the idea is interrupt it, contrary action, and start doing something, anything to right your day. So it's like, how do you recover a bad day? That's how I do it.
So contrary action, or what we said earlier, act before you feel.
Yes, exactly. Because if I feel before I act, then the feeling is this is going to be a bad day. And then I'm circling the drain, right? And I could get sucked under. And then
back to the gym, right? Like, just get up first thing in the morning.
get up and go. Get up and go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it took me a long time to learn that. I used to do it out of anger, I would just sheer bullheadedness and I'm just going to fight it, fight it, fight it. And I did that for many years, and that's actually pretty exhausting.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I have nothing to defend. I don't defend anything. It's like bad thoughts come at me. It's sort of like, hello, goodbye, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have to defend it, argue with it, fight with it, any of it. I just know that it's not real. It's just part of my psyche
Yes.
that for whatever reason,
Pops up.
yeah,
I love
and
that.
let it go.
So talk to me a little bit now about the process of writing your book. You and
Yeah.
I connected probably about a year ago, but we didn't get started till, you know, I followed you up a few times before, you know, because the illustrations were not finished.
No, well, I think we actually talked a couple of years ago, didn't we? Was it the first time a year ago? Maybe it's a year and a half, because I didn't.
Not
Yeah.
2 years. That definitely hasn't been 2 years, but definitely
Yeah.
we connected, and I think 4 to 6 months. I
Right.
kept asking you, how are you going? Where are the illustrations at? And, you know, stayed on top of that. And then one day you said, I think I'm pretty much
Ready to go.
Got to meet Clemmy, the illustrator, one of the
Yeah.
calls.
Right.
It was wonderful. So tell me a little bit about that the process of it all.
Yeah. So, you know, I sent you the book and, you went to work, and it was like, I had 1,000 questions.
Yes.
To which I had no answers, but you guys did. And basically you just talked me off the ledge a lot, you know, when I was freaking out or having a hard time, or, you know, I remember going to one session, one of the coaching sessions, and going, I hate my book. I hate it, you know, and Viv just went, yeah, it happens all the time. It happens to everybody. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, okay, that's a natural part of the process.
Yep, absolutely.
So all those things that I didn't know were natural parts of the process were like, oh, that's part of the process. You know, I could move on.
Yeah.
It was great. And, you know, we did an edit, and then I had a couple more edits done, and I got some notes from other people, and I rewrote some of it. I found the editing process to be really, really helpful and interesting, and I really honed the book and got the beginning much clearer about what I wanted to do. And you guys just were with me all the way along, and you know, we'd process stuff and talk about it. And I never thought I would have the book in my hands.
Yeah.
I still can't quite believe that, you know, I've got it here in my, you know, it's really there, and it's a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be. I know.
Imagining it like the way when we started, it's like a good substantial book, guys. Like it's got, you're not going to read it in one sitting. That's why I've been saying I've been reading 10 or so pages, you know,
a day. Yeah.
a day, you know, next to my bed as I wake up, I'll read, or just before bed. So it's not just, there's a lot of value in there. And, you know, maybe bookmarking some of the ones that you really want to come back to, because it's good for us to even memorize like our top 10, you know, kind of thing. Because when we, that's what I've done. I asked you about your strategy, but my strategy when I'm feeling crap is to pull back on some key questions, like, you know, how can I use this? What's funny about this? What will I think about this in 5 to 10 years time?
Yeah,
and I've
that's
memorized it. Yeah, well, I've memorized certain things. So when I'm feeling crappy, I know my brain goes to those, because I'm not going to go and read something. I'm not going to pull something. I need to like have it stored here, so that my little voice in my head asks me these certain things. Or, you know, as you say, like with the procrastination, you know, if I don't feel like getting up for my exercise, always have to get up. You'll feel better at the end of your 7-minute workout, because I do this thing at home when I'm not going to the gym.
Right.
And all that. So yeah, that's amazing. And you are such a great client and also to work with, because you did show up to your weekly publishing accelerator course, and you did ask the questions. And, you know, I know from the team, everyone's just like, oh, we love talking to Art. Like, you know, like they really enjoyed, you know, even though you had a lot of questions, they really enjoyed, you know, working with you, answering those. It was like a real pleasure.
Well, it was really coactive. process, which I think is what's so great about it, is that I learned a huge amount.
Yeah.
You guys brought your skill set and your personalities, and I brought the book and my personality, and the sharing of all the skill sets that you guys offer. It's just a really nice blend. And I always felt like you had my back. And even when I was really stuck, it was so great, because I would text, and Julie or Viv or you would just say, don't worry about that. We'll worry about that next week,
Yeah.
worry about today's work today and tomorrow's work tomorrow. It's like,
because that's what people try, first time authors try to think too far ahead.
yeah,
And really this journey, it is a detailed journey.
yes,
So therefore we need to go through it, pick up the next breadcrumb and just do
yes,
that, and then pick up the next one and all that sort of stuff. And so far, it's immaculate. I've got 20 pages to go. I have not found anything. Of course, if I find anything, I would let you know. But I always kind of go, well, if I'm going to read it, of course, at the same time, I'm proofing it, right?
right.
So no, it's so far,
Pretty immaculate.
Yeah, immaculate.
That's great.
So I love that. Congratulations. So what are you doing now? So I'll share with the guys where they can check out a little bit about your coaching, where they can get the book. But what are your intentions for the next sort of 5 or so years of?
Well, if I never think that far ahead.
No, that's
First
fine.
of all,
At least for today.
today I'm an in the moment person. I've changed. I used to be 10
Right.
years ahead,
Yeah.
but now I'm an in the moment. What I'm doing now is I'm writing my second book.
Yeah.
So I'm well into that. And your advice about, how do we market our book, and what does marketing your book actually do for you? And are you going to make any money with the book? Is that I onboarded 2 new clients last week.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm aware that this book I may not make money from this book, but I am aware that this book is going to lead to more clients.
Oh, without a doubt.
With my
Some people
coaching.
watching this interview right now, you've inspired them. You wouldn't believe how many comments. I haven't had time to read them all, but there's comments of people, what they've said and how you're inspiring them and all that kind of stuff. And, then this gets shared into so many different places and people check you out. And that's the thing that I always wanted to impart to others. It's not about the book. It's what people see you as then. And then they check out your website and they kind of contact you, and they really kind of connect with you. And in one client, you've paid off the effort to do the book.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
It's like leveraging your visibility is what's really happening. And it's
I love that.
It's terrific.
Yeah.
And I got to write a book I wanted to write. I didn't write this to make money. That was not my intention.
Yeah.
I wrote this as a passion project that was really close to my heart. It was something that I had to write.
Yeah.
And I really feel in a way that it came through me, not from me. And I was compelled to do it. And
it's the best way to do it. I think it's the best way when you go, not doing this for money. I want to complete it because it's my passion. And usually though, for those reasons, then you tend to attract all of these other things because it's come from that place.
Energy out, energy back, and it never comes back exactly the way you think it's going to come back, but it comes back.
Absolutely. So what I want to do is I want to share with everyone where they can check out a bit more information on you. So losangelescoaching.com, very easy to remember, guys. That's Art here in his on his website. So you can see here he's got his book that you can get directly from his website, or certainly you can go through and purchase it on any of your good online resellers. Obviously, Amazon is your first go-to. It's available in paperback. I think paperback is a good one for this over Kindle because you can highlight, you can put little bookmark. It's something you should probably have in your, I have this rotating bookshelf next to my bedside table. It's a rotating bookshelf. And I've got about 20 or 30 books. And I think it's one that you could just even go like this and go, what's my message for today? that's what I love sometimes. What is it? I actually have a whole lot of those cards. What are they called? Like not oracle cards, but different ones. But I filled this big container, and they're just all mixed up. And sometimes I just want a message for the day, and I go through and I just pick one. And this is exactly what I would do with this book. And it's go, oh, this is what I really needed to hear, because I do know that the universe is sending us messages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, any last words? Any final aphorism you want to leave this on, Hart?
Well, yes, I'm gonna read the last. Shall I read the last one in the book?
Yes,
let's
please.
do that.
Let's do that.
Okay. This one is titled I Am Before the Thought.
Mhm.
Well, here we are again, right back where we started, talking about thought. Just another example of how thought goes round and round in constant, unrelenting conversations with itself. Smart folks tell me there is a me that precedes my thoughts, a me before mind, a me mystery. I often wonder if seeking this me might be the essence of my life journey. Who is this me that is without thought? What is this me that transcends my body, my mind, my circumstances? Perhaps this me is pure spirit, the intrinsic internal hum that elevates my days. It's hard to assign a value to this me because it's so ethereal and translucent, so non-quantifiable, so non-monetizable. Except when I slow down and listen, then it's worth everything. These are the times when heaven whispers, what does it feel like, this grace within?
Love it. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And people asking for the link. We will get the link out for you guys. Don't you worry. In a second, losangelescoachingdough.com is Art's website. And the book is called Get Out of Your Head. It's a mess in there. So you can find it also online as well, Amazon and all that kind of stuff. So there you go. Lindy's just posted that in. I can see it in the comments. So go and go through, and I'm guessing if they get it from you, if they're local, you might even be able to sign it and then post it. And then if they're international, we'll show you how to fulfill your international orders through Ingram Spark, so you don't have to do that massive ordeal that it takes to post book internationally. So but I'm sure you will, because a lot of our audience also is around Australia. So thank you so much for your time this afternoon for you, this morning for me. What a wonderful way to start the week. This live on a Monday morning for me really gets me into the mode of like, this is like, I don't always feel like doing these interviews, but as soon as I finished one, I'm like, okay, what's next in my diary?
Right.
And this is Act Before You Feel. Like, it's scheduled every Monday for the last 7 years. I've been doing not just interviews, I've done like educationals and things like that. I've been around on this time slot for a long time. So I really, really appreciate it. I can't wait to see you all, what those next stages are, because we always know with our authors, our relationships are, kind of long term. We get to know you and you get to know us, and can't wait to see you writing more books and me reading them.
Thanks so much.
Have a great afternoon. Bye. Guys, remember, smash it out.